saying g'day. Michael Gallis, A1 TV, Healthy Living. Magic Monday it is. It is take two here. We've got a very special guest and I'm so excited because this is the first time we've done a Zoom interview from Melbourne, Australia, all the way to Lahore, Pakistan. And the lady we've got tonight, you will be absolutely amazed, as I have, a real inspiration for women in Pakistan, women around the world, and one of my inspirations as well, as every woman in Pakistan is, as you all know. And joining us tonight, Zenith Irfan, the motorcycle girl. Those of you in Pakistan will know her, that's for sure. And it's a great privilege and an honour, Zenith, to have you joining us tonight on A1 TV. Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you so much, Michael. And yes, a very, very good evening to everyone in Australia. It's an honor to be here, and I'm so excited to share my stories from the road.
No, us too. It's just amazing. I can't believe how good our connection is from Melbourne, Australia to Lahore in Pakistan. Now they tell me Lahore, the city of food. Firstly, every person I meet from Pakistan, from Lahore, says food, food, food. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's why I'm gaining so much weight because of the lockdown, and then we're just eating all the time. But yes, Lahore is known as the city of food, and we have a variety of food.
What's your favorite?
Biryani. Biryani, you know the one, that curried rice.
Yep.
You know, rice with chicken or like beef with all the spices in it. The spiced rice. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I remember I had that in Pakistan. Usually have some yogurt with it to dull the taste.
Raita.
Very, very spicy.
And it's called raita, and yes, I mean you should have it with that, but I know for you it might be really spicy. For me it's not. It's not.
Yeah, Australian food's very bland compared to Pakistan food, and that's why I loved traveling the country when I was there last year, eating all the different types of foods. A lot of the food the same, but it was different in the way that it was cooked or the different spices.
Yeah.
That makes it such an amazing country that you would go to all different places and the food in each area was so different. And I was very lucky to experience that.
Yes, exactly. I think Pakistan is very diverse. People often think it's only about one culture. But I realized even during my travels that it has a variety of food and even drinks. And so, you're right. I agree with you.
And yeah, you talk about the different cultures influencing food. At one place I was at, I had eggs on toast, which is obviously the British influence. Well, I couldn't believe it.
Oh God. Yeah, very rightly said. I mean, we are a big fan of eggs on toast. Or maybe eggs with paratha, that it's actually a chapati, like roti. I'm sure you must have had bread with the flour, but with a lot of oil on it. I know it's not really healthy, but that's what all of us have in the morning. But yes, eggs on toast is definitely coming from the British influence, and I agree. Because of course they're still going through that post-colonial hangover, We're still going through those things. But yes, I mean, I love my country, honestly. I love the food. And I mean, you're right. Yeah, absolutely right.
No, the food was just extraordinary everywhere I went. The roti bread, I certainly miss it with the potato in it, with the garlic in it, with the spices in it. The egg, I called it Pakistani omelettes because it was an omelette.
Yes.
But it had all the spices in it. No, it was beautiful, beautiful. Take me back, take me back, take me back.
Why don't you come over? I hope you come back again, We really want to host you again.
Yeah, hopefully 2021 we're planning if COVID can settle down here in Australia and we can get the flights up and running. How's COVID looking in Lahore at the moment?
I mean, I went out yesterday. It looks like the virus is not even here in Lahore. It's just very surprising to see a lot of people outside. Unfortunately, not a lot of people are following the SOPs, But I mean, we're seeing a decrease in cases. I don't watch a lot of COVID news, to be honest. It gives me a lot of anxiety. I kind of refrain from it. But then In fact, I would like to even point this out that it's so important that even if the virus is slowing down, it hasn't wiped out yet, and we have to still take precautions.
Yeah.
But yes, some people are taking precautions, some aren't. But I guess Pakistan has, I don't know, maybe developed a herd immunity or what, because everywhere I go, there's someone without a mask and roaming around normally.
Yeah.
So I hope that changes. That's wrong. I don't encourage that. But yeah, I mean, that's what I saw yesterday. It was so opposite to what I was seeing on TV. It was
Yeah.
very different. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. It's getting better over there. We're still in a lockdown here in Melbourne. Those who've been watching A1 TV know that I'm not allowed out of my house apart from 5 kilometres and 1 hour a day to exercise and to go to work. And we're under a curfew and the shops are all shut and kids are still not being able to go to school. So we're hoping that'll change very soon. And very excitingly, we can take our minds off it by having a chat to you, Zenith Irfan, the motorcycle girl from Pakistan. Take us through your childhood. Were you interested in motorbikes as a child?
I actually was not born in Pakistan. I mean, fun fact, I was born in Sharjah, United Arab Emirates.
Yep.
And I lived my first 12 years of my life over there. And while I was growing up, I wasn't a big fan of motorcycles, but I do remember myself being a tomboy. I would be the gang leader in a small gang of children, and I would be the person who would, puncture tires of my neighbor's car, and I would be doing all the really bad and rebellious things out there when I was young. I do recall myself being very naughty, and but I don't have any memory of playing with dolls. Like I don't have any memory of playing with anything that's um, playing with dolls or like playing with makeup. I do remember doing all the things that the boys would do, and most probably because my cousins were all male and my brother, I had a brother, so like I was brought up in that environment.
Yeah.
So not necessarily motorcycles, but yes, I was a tomboy.
Yeah.
Like I was a
Yeah.
tomboy.
So you had a lot of boys around you as brothers and cousins,
Yes.
and you ran with them, and obviously enjoyed that. So that gave you. Do you think that sort of built in you a sense of adventure and a sense of doing things outside the box?
Yes, I mean, I remember I have this very vivid memory of having this world map. My mom bought me a world map, and I would just lay it out on the floor and I would pinpoint each and every country and city. I would trace it with my fingers and I would, think to myself, I'm so curious that I want to know how Australia is like or how New Zealand is like. I would imagine it. Or that how, Pakistan would be, or like I would want to, I had that urge to travel from a very young age.
Yeah.
And it's also because of that upbringing I had, I do feel that yes, it led to who I am today. And one thing I would like to point out over here was it was also because of how my mother kind of gave us that ability to pinpoint our emotions. So like my mom would she bought me a diary at a very young age, and she said that you have to write down all your feelings and whatever you did in a day on a diary. And because I was in that habit of writing and exploring things around my surroundings, it eventually led to who I am today. Because when I was traveling, I started writing about it. So I
Yeah.
had that habit of writing and communicating about my feelings. I had a good vocabulary. She stressed on communication a lot. So I think yes, you're right that it kind of like it was kind of building a base
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
motorcycle girl. A base was being built. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you get from United Arab Emirates across to Lahore? How was that? How did that journey end up?
Oh my God, it was a very difficult journey, to be honest. It was so difficult. Back in 2008, I think during the recession, there were a lot of families that flew back from their countries, their birth countries, to back to their hometowns. And my family was one of them, but my family is only of three people. It's only my brother, my mom, and I. That's it. And although we were not going through any financial problems, but my mom felt that it's the right time to fly back
Yeah.
to Pakistan because of the education system. The education system in UAE did not encourage much growth.
Yeah.
So my mom wanted to give us best education, and surprisingly, Pakistan does have some really good schools.
Yeah.
So she flew us back at my early teens, and it was a very difficult journey because I wasn't aware of a lot of things in Pakistan. I wasn't aware of the fact that, like, for example, motorcycle is taboo here. I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of this. For me, I never noticed that. I would definitely notice that there weren't many women riding, but I never knew it was taboo. So like, I never knew that people over here speak things in an indirect manner. I was a very straightforward person,
Yeah.
and people over here, they speak like this, and I wouldn't understand their jokes. So it took me some time to actually get used to my own country. It took
Yeah.
me a while to understand my own people, and a lot of it was a lot of traveling helped me too. Like, when I started traveling, it helped me understand my country more.
Yeah.
I have had a love and hate relationship with my country, let me admit this. I kind of hate my country sometimes with all what's happening in the news,
Yeah.
and I also kind of love it at the same time. And so it's more like a relationship that we are having a breakup all the time, and then like, but we're still in love with each other. So it's like that. So
And that's
yeah.
the same, that's the same in all countries too. That, there are good parts of all countries and there are parts that need to be improved. And as long as that we all concentrate on improving the parts that need improving, and like you said, really celebrating the good parts about Pakistan. And sadly, I've found the Western world does not celebrate the good parts of Pakistan. It's an extraordinary country,
Hmm.
as you found traveling around on your motorbike, that it is an amazing place. And I was advised not to visit through my government, and when I got there I
Yeah.
found the most amazing people, the most giving, the most loving, the most friendly, the most
Yeah.
beautiful people in the whole world, and who'll be my friends now forever. And it's such an extraordinary opportunity for me, and very lucky to come to your beautiful country. And you yourself, once you started traveling around, you've come from another country, come back to your birth country. You must have found that as well. What were your favourite parts when you're on the motorbike and you are driving really in the rural areas? What did you enjoy the
Yeah.
most?
So that was my journey from Sharjah to Lahore.
Yep.
That was a phase of my life where I was still young. I was in my early teens, mid-teens, still trying to understand who I am. And then fast forward few years later, I come across you know, um, this dream of my father. I mean, a lot of people know about it. Like, since I was, of course, brought up without a father figure in my life. He passed away when he was very young,
Yeah.
almost around 33, 34 years old. So
Yeah.
there was always like a blank space in both my brother and I's life, like who he
Yeah.
was. So when I discovered the dream of him actually wanting to travel across the world, it
Yeah.
kind of like ignited that dream of his in my heart. But even till then, I had not made the decision to start riding. It was actually many, many years later that I took up riding. And a lot of it had to do with circumstances, because I have this firm belief that if you want something in your life, the universe will eventually push you towards it,
Yeah.
or bring all those things to you. But after a lot of struggle, and after the universe realizes that you're ready. So like, I also felt the same. Like, when I started going to college, I had problems with commute. I had financial problems. We couldn't afford daily rickshaw rides, to my college. So
Yeah.
we decided to buy a small motorcycle. And when that motorcycle came to my house, my mom encouraged me to ride. She encouraged my brother to
Yeah.
teach me how to ride.
Yeah.
And it's a very unusual thing in Pakistan. I think it's a very unusual thing everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had people tell me, even from America or the States, that they wouldn't allow their daughter to ride. It's so dangerous, and it's a very difficult sport. So but my mother, on the other hand, encouraged my brother to teach me how to ride, and then I started taking those lessons. And when I started going out on the road, it was then I realized that, why are people staring at me? I don't understand. Like, why are they reacting in this way? What am I doing that's wrong?
Yeah.
So I kind of understood the psyche of people over here, that it's taboo. This is something not a lot of women are doing.
Yeah.
And So even till then, when I was getting the basic trainings, I still had not thought of going out in the mountains. I just thought that maybe I'll ride in the city, and maybe I'll just ride to help myself go to college and come back, or go to a friend's place and come back.
Yeah.
But it was, like I mentioned earlier, a series of events. For example, I went through a really terrible heartbreak after heartbreak from the same person. So like
Yeah.
I fell in love very young, was going through that heartbreak, and I was going through that period of low self-esteem, depression, negativity, not knowing who I am, like all that things that a young girl goes through.
Yeah.
And I used all of that energy, that pain and heartbreak, and transformed it in my ride. It
Yeah.
was during my heartbreak, and it was during the pain that I was going through, I realized that I have to ride.
Yeah.
Now I have to go to the mountains. So it kind of triggered me.
Yeah.
Like, there was a trigger.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I have to do this also for my father. So there were so many things happening, but then it all was pointing to that one decision, that then it just go. Don't think much, just go to the mountains and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So this was all the backstory of what was happening in my life, like this is all the emotional, physical,
Yeah.
and the psychological, you can say, things that were happening with me before I took the first trip. That
Yeah.
was what was happening.
And that's so important, especially when you are feeling low and there's a lot of negativity around yourself.
Yeah.
And it happens to all of us, and it's really happening to a lot of people in, across the world relating to corona and COVID, is to try and
Yeah.
find something to really hang on to drag yourself out of it. And for you, it was motorbike riding. For other people, it might be writing, it might be painting, it might
Mm.
be singing, it might be even just going for a walk, doing some walking. And it's so great. It is very tough, isn't it? Explain how hard it
It's,
was to change from
yeah.
negativity and go into a really positive journey through your riding. It must have been very hard to start.
Yes, it was very hard. I really had to throw myself out there on the road. Like I had to drag myself out of bed. I didn't want to be that person who's crying all the time in her room because of something happened to her. I took my tragedy as a way of helping to build helping myself find a new light.
Yeah.
And at that moment when I was really depressed and like I didn't understand what's happening in my life, I the only thing that was ringing bells in my head was just go for a ride, just go for a ride. It was all about just go out there. And I think that energy you have when you are really broken down is powerful. And
Yeah.
it's so counterintuitive, like we often speak about how positive energy is so powerful, but with me it was the other case. For me, the negative energy was powerful enough because I was able to throw myself to the unknown, and I was able to take that risk,
Yeah.
of being a woman on a bike in the mountains on the road. Anything could have happened to me. I could have fallen down, but I felt that I was just so, like rebellious or like eager to travel and really explore, that I did it.
Yeah.
And yes, it's difficult. It's not, it's very easy when I'm saying this on an interview that I did this, but no, it's a lot of hard work, so many tears and sweat and blood, man. Like this, it's a lot of hard work. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the effort you put in makes the reward even greater, doesn't it? It makes you
Yes.
well worth it.
I mean, it's worth it because when I first took the first journey, the first journey was like on the 14th of August 2015. It was Pakistan's National Day, and I remember when I was riding, through GT Road, Grand Trunk Road. It's a road that connects till Delhi. It's a huge road. It's a very long road, and it's known for having the worst traffic, the worst truck drivers driving on the road. So like, I was super scared. I remember I couldn't sleep the last night when I was about to head towards my journey.
Yeah.
And I was scared. I mean, what would happen if a truck driver just, kind of like smashed into me? I'm just a small person
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
truck is so huge, like all these fears were running through my mind. But then I really had to take a deep breath and really face fear,
Yeah.
eye to eye. And like, I really had to be friends with fear.
Yeah.
I couldn't ignore it. I couldn't ignore that feeling. I had to acknowledge that I'm fearful, fine. But then what can I really do with this feeling I have? What can I really do with this feeling? Can I just ignore it? Can I calibrate it? Or can I like maybe talk myself through it. So like the only thing I did was just I went, and the first trip that I took really did change my life, and it was very rewarding because A, I got to know more about my country. B, I got to know more about the fact how a woman is safe in Pakistan. I mean,
Yeah.
instead of people harassing me in the mountains, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
People were very welcoming and hospitable, and there was a question of safety. Like, if I am riding, will I be safe? Like,
Yeah.
will people receive me in a friendly way? And all those questions were answered when I saw it for myself, that yes, it's safe, and yes, people will welcome you. So yes, it was really rewarding.
And they must have been, were they a little bit perplexed when, especially in the rural areas up north, Gilgit and Hunza, when you're riding, that this woman's on this motorbike by herself? You didn't have a support team, you didn't have other people. It was just you riding a bike.
I actually did have a support team. I must mention here, a lot of people have this conception that I travel solo. Most of the times, I travel with my brother. So, like, my brother does accompany me.
Yeah.
But there have been times when I have done solo rides also. Like, there have been times when I have been totally alone on the road.
Yeah.
And even if it's with my brother or if it's not with my brother, or the only fact that I am a woman riding through their villages,
Yeah.
as on a motorcycle is like an awe moment for them, because they have never seen
Yeah.
a woman do something like this. They're only used to a woman, maybe going out into to the fields and harvesting, or maybe like tending to the cattle,
Yeah.
or like taking care of the children. So these are the roles that they're aware of,
Yeah.
and they're not much exposed to the city. So for me to actually come to their village was a very beautiful thing. I remember when I would enter their villages, young girls, they had like a sparkle in their eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had that small thing, that oh my god, and they had that wow moment in their eyes going on. It was very beautiful, and that's what makes me not want to stop to ride. And
Yeah.
like,
Ah.
people might think that, oh, you'll stop riding eventually, you'll get married, you'll settle down, you're a Pakistani woman, no one's going to allow you. But I don't think I will ever stop riding because of that moment, that sparkle in that little girl's eyes, when I visit her. And it kind of also gives a subtle message on how women are able to do a lot of things. It's not important that she is only confined to certain roles. I feel me riding a motorcycle has nothing to do with my gender. Like,
Yeah.
riding a motorcycle is a genderless thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter of which race, color, or gender you're from. It's a basic thing, and but unfortunately, in a country like me, in mine, like in a country like mine, Pakistan, that's not the case, and it does give a subtle message out there. So, instead of like barging on someone's door and saying we have to fight for women's right,
Yeah.
you're kind of giving a silent message through
Yeah.
your travels that see, a woman can do this too. So you're setting an example for these young girls.
Yeah.
You're setting a role model.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with even the barging part thing. Like, you can protest and you should speak for your women rights in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you have the right to protest, but I kind of adopt the other way around. Like, I kind of set an example for them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, which is so important. And I coached AFL Pakistan national women's team who came to Melbourne
Yes.
in 2017,
Yeah.
and every single one of those women were just so extraordinary in their courage, like yourself, and their inspiration, that other people across Australia, around the world, heard their story. Like, people are hearing your story and showing that
Yeah.
it is possible. It is difficult, but it is possible to do what you want to do as a woman, and nothing's off limits. If you want to ride a bike, you can ride a bike. If you want to play AFL football, you can play AFL football. If you want to be a professor, if you want to be a doctor, you can do that. It might be hard and there's struggles, but you're
Yes.
living proof, Zenith, that you can do it, and you can do it really well. And that inspires other girls and other women across Pakistan and around the world to
Yeah.
follow their dreams and to do things out of the box, doesn't it?
Yes, and it's not important that anyone who follows me should ride a motorcycle. If you really dissect my message, it's only about how you should follow your dreams,
Yeah, yeah,
because human beings dream.
Yeah.
It's not about a man dreaming or a woman dreaming. It's about a human being dreaming.
Yeah.
And that is the message, like that's what I'm trying to communicate through my rides. And I'm actually happy at myself that I took that decision to write about my travels on my on my photo blog on Facebook by the same name, Zenith Irfan. Like I chose that option to tell about the stories from the road to a wider audience so that they can see the real Pakistan.
Yeah.
They can see that what Pakistan is all about.
And if people want to follow you, you're stopped at the moment due to COVID, but you're planning some more rides in the future. If people want to find out about you and stay in contact with you, are you on social media and got a website?
Oh yes. So the first part of your question, that yeah, because of the virus, I can't travel extensively, but I do look forward for traveling to Balochistan and Sindh. So these are the two provinces that I really want to explore.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to know where I'm headed next and what I'm doing, they can always follow me on Facebook. It's by the same name, Zenith Irfan. I have a page, and even on Instagram, I'm with the same name. I don't have a website yet. I'm trying to build one, but yeah,
We'll have
I'm
to
on
have a chat.
Facebook and Instagram.
We'll have a chat to your manager, Afzal Hussain, about that then, won't we? Afzal, are you watching? Website
Yes,
time.
yes, he has to help me with the website. I agree.
He does a great job too, doesn't he? He set up this interview. He contacted me. You must be really happy to have someone organising and helping you with your career in that way as well.
So with Afzal, the thing is, for a very long time, I had no manager. Like I had no one organized these things for me. I would do it all on my own.
Yeah.
But then, if I really want to take it to the next level, like if I want to build my own brand, so my ultimate aim is to build a brand under my name, Zenith Irfan, and sell variety of products. So I need a manager then, because then I cannot. I'm very emotional when it comes to business dealings. Like I cannot do it honestly. I'm more of a emotional and a sensitive person, so then I give all that duty to Afzal. I'm like, just do it for me, like. Instead, yes, it's very good to have that support system. It's so important, like people like Afzal and my brothers support women like me. So I come from a place of privilege, you understand, like I'm very privileged. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really important to do anything in your life, is to have that support around you, whether you're a school teacher, whether you're a mother, whether you're a chef, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a motorbike rider, whether you're a football coach.
Yeah.
You can't do things without support and without reaching out for people to support you. So important, isn't it?
Yes, because I know we speak about women empowerment, and it is so important that we speak more about it in Pakistan, especially.
Yeah.
But then we should also highlight on how it is important to empower men,
Yeah.
and by that I mean to ask men to support women like us.
Yeah.
All they have to do is support us. That's it. I mean, even if you're supporting that person verbally, it's enough for a woman to pursue her dreams. So, for example, if there is a woman right now who's watching me and she's unable to pursue her dreams just because she doesn't have a support system, imagine of how of the places that she can reach if she had that.
Yeah.
So, I will never be able to understand why God chose me to be privileged, and there's another woman out there who doesn't have that opportunity, and eventually I do want to find a way to serve them in some way or help them.
Yeah.
But yes, it's extremely important. In a country like mine, in Southeast Asian culture, it's very important. Support is everything.
Yeah. And your inspiration, such that people are watching your story and seeing what you're doing, really inspires other people to think about it. And what you said about men in Pakistan being empowered to help women, that's what I found. When every town, I
Yeah.
started in Karachi, I went into Multan, across to Lahore, up to Gujranwala, and into Islamabad. Every place that I went to and explained that I was the coach of the national women's team, people asked me, what can we do to help these girls? How can we empower them? How can we build them? How can we give other girls
Yeah.
opportunities? So don't be afraid to ask men too. Like, I'm a man. We're not very intelligent men. We're not very intelligent. So
Oh,
we need women to tell us what to do. And men aren't going to like that, but it's the truth. And we need women to keep us under control. So if you're out there and you're watching and you want to help out, help out. And if you're a woman in Pakistan or
Yes,
anywhere around the world, go and approach people and, put yourself on the line. Feel the fear, but do it anyway.
yes, and I'm so happy you asked that question. Like we should ask men on how we can support, and like on an individual level basis, I can answer that. Like for example, you can help other females by firstly supporting. And when I say support, what do I really mean by support? By support, I mean if you see a woman, she's driving or she's riding a motorcycle, and don't catcall her.
Yeah,
Don't stare at her. Don't take her pictures without her permission. Like the people that take
yeah,
my pictures without permission. And if you see another man doing that, stop him.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
stand up for other men too, and ask them to not do this, or explain to them and what you're doing is wrong. So instead of staying quiet,
yeah,
even as a man in Pakistan, you have to really ask other men to not do that. And also like verbally motivating and creating that environment where she can grow and prosper. That's
yeah,
what it's all about. Like trust me, and I hope it does happen. I mean, I see a lot of men doing that now. Like I'm so happy that I see the change happening.
yeah.
It's in a very initial stage, but eventually we'll get there.
And trust me, Zenith, it's not just Pakistan. It's the same in Australia. I'm sure it's the same
Yeah.
in India. It's the same in America, Canada, a lot of the places that A1 TV goes to, New Zealand. Men need to respect women more, and also we need to support them more. And if they are approached and they want to follow a dream, even if it's outside the box, fantastic. We should be supporting,
Yeah.
encouraging them. So seriously, trust me, it's not just Pakistan. It's in a lot of places in the world. It's in Melbourne. It's in Australia. It's across the world that men need to show more respect, but also show more respect in the way of support for people to achieve their dreams, and to give them, as you said, we've got to give women the opportunity first.
Yes, exactly. And I'm aware of the fact that this is a worldwide issue. It's not only, it's not only specifically towards Pakistan. Like it's not
Yeah,
only in Pakistan. I'm aware of this. Like I hosted this. She's an Australian motorcycle rider, and she was riding a chick chooser. I think it's a chaser. I don't know, something like that. It's a motorcycle that's used to
yeah,
chase hens. In the farms over here. I don't know what it's
yeah,
called.
that's it.
It's a
Behind me,
250cc.
there it is. There, the big rooster.
Yeah, yeah. She was riding that bike, and she told me that this bike in Australia is used to chase hens
Yeah,
and the cattle back, and in the countryside. And she told me about how much, on how people commented of her riding this motorcycle. How the male would, tell her that, oh, it's so womanly of her to ride a chuk chaser, or I don't know what it is, a motorcycle like that, and how she was discouraged. And so it was very surprising for me to learn about that, because I thought it's only a Pakistani problem, but I realized that it's not a Pakistani problem. This is everywhere. This is
yeah,
everywhere. So yeah, you're right.
yeah. Zenith, we've hardly even touched on your your journey across Pakistan on a motorbike, the motorcycle girl you're world famous for. Our time's about to run out on A1 TV, Healthy Living. Michael Gallis, your host, all the way. We've been talking to Zenith Irfan from Lahore in Pakistan, the motorcycle girl. Zenith, are you happy to come back on our show in a couple more weeks and continue to have a chat about your journeys and your life? Because you are an inspiration, not just to girls of Pakistan, for women all across the world. And we'd love to have you back on to talk about your philosophies and obviously to find out more about your journeys. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we really thank you for your honesty and your candor, and we thank you for being an inspiration to women across Pakistan and around the world.
I will definitely love to come. Thank you so much, Michael. That's very kind of you. And yes, in the near future, when I've done more traveling, I'll come on this show and tell everyone about my stories. And thank you. That's very kind of you. Really sweet.
Now, that'd be fantastic. Now, I sign off with some Urdu. See if you know this Urdu. I usually say Mazi Karu.
Mercy, what Urdu is that? Sorry, I can't understand.
Everyone says that to me. I'll say it slowly. Mazi Karu.
Mercy karo.
Mazi Karu.
Maze karo? No, there is no word like that. There isn't any word.
What?
It's so difficult.
What about this one?
Maybe
What about this one? Shaba Shaba?
shabash. Very
Yeah,
shabash.
that's good.
Shabash means good.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
good.
good, well done.
Yeah, Mazzy Karoo, have fun.
Marzi karo. I think you're trying to say marzi karo, like do what you want to do type of thing, something like that. Yeah, if that's what you want, what
Muzzy, can
saying?
I say Muzzy Karoo? Muzzy Karoo, no?
No, there is no one. Whoever taught you this, I need to know his number. I'll kind of scold him. Then what have you been teaching, Michael?
Everyone tell me Muzzy Karoo, everyone.
I should really. That's so weird. There is no word like that. It's
All
really
right,
weird.
thanks, Zenith. I'll have to research that. It's been a pleasure having you on. Magic Monday is over for another week. Thank you for all your support. We're so lucky, Zenith, to get so much great feedback via Facebook,
Thank
Facebook
you.
Live, and across A1 TV around the world. And you can't do any of this without your fans and without supporters. And big shout out to everyone across the world. Thanks for joining us on Magic Monday. Can't wait to see you next week. And don't worry, this lady will be back again because she's an absolute cracker. And what an inspiration. And can't wait to have you on again, Zenith. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to teach you last one, an Aussie farewell. Hooroo.
How do you do that?
Hooroo.
Hooroo.
That's it.
Hooroo.